Unsought means you may not have asked for it, you may not have expected it, but whatsoever comes, you are contented with it. Rising above the pairs of opposites, dvandva atitaha, vimatsaraha, free from envy. Samaha, siddhau, asiddhau. Siddha is success, asiddha is failure. Your recognition of something as success and failure is always in connection with a particular result that you expect. You expect a particular result, and when it comes, it is success. You get different from what you want. You get something different from what you expected or what you wanted. You call it as failure. So success or failure is always in relation to the phala, the fruit. The particular fruit that you expect is success. The particular fruit that you should not get. If you get what you don't want to get, you call it as failure. If you get what you want, you call it as success. Either way, he says, he is samaha, equanimous in success and failure. Such a person, though acting, is not bound. Though acting, he is not bound. What does it mean by though acting, he is not bound? If you are not content with whatever comes to you, if you are not able to rise above the pairs of opposites, if you are not equanimous in success and failure, you are acting with kartrutva. That action binds you. That's how you are bound. This person here acts exactly in the opposite way. Therefore, though acting, he is not bound. Throughout the Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, act. On the one side, he keeps on saying, act. On the other side, he says, action binds. On the one side, he says, keep on acting. On the other side, he keeps on saying, action binds. Now the question is, how do you understand this? What is it that binds? A jnani is also acting. A sannyasi is also acting. But his actions is not binding him. A wise person is also acting. But that wise person's acting doesn't bind him. So, though both are acting, an ignorant person is also in action. The wise person is also in action. In the case of an ignorant person, his action creates bondage. In the case of a wise person, he is not bound. Now, what is it that is happening in that man that he is not bound? First thing, in relation to the doing and in relation to the consequences of the doing. In relation to the doing, there is no kartrutva, the doership. In relation to the fruit, prasada buddhi. Whatever comes as the phala, he takes it as the prasad. Again I repeat, when he is acting, there is no kartrutva. In relation to the doing, there is no kartrutva. In relation to the phala, the fruit, it is prasada buddhi. That which drives the action is not raga dvesha. So, the driving force of the action, the actual doing, the result, the phala, the consequences of the doing. He has taken care of all the three. Again I repeat, He has taken care of all the three. What is the three that he has taken care of? He has taken care of the three as in the first thing is in relation to the doing, the starting point of the action. The starting point of the action in relation to a ignorant person is raga and dvesha, likes and dislikes. When the doing, the starting point of the action is raga dvesha, the actual doing happens with kartrutva, affected by the result. In the case of a wise man, all these three he has taken care of. His actions are not driven by raga dvesha. His actions are not driven by likes and dislikes. If likes and dislikes, raga dvesha is not driving his actions, then what is driving his actions? Obligations is driving his actions. That which ought to be done, whether you like it or not. Since obligations are driving the action, he is taking care of the first part of the action. Second thing is, as he is doing, there is no kartrutva in the doing. As he is doing his obligations, there is no kartrutva. He does his obligations, no kartrutva. The fruit can be anything. The fruit can be anything. So whatsoever the fruit is, he is comfortable with. He takes it as the prasad. Therefore, the starting point, the doing, the end, all the three he has taken care of. Therefore, though doing, though acting, he is not bound. In the case of an ignorant person, everything in relation to action is binding him. He is bound by raga dvesha. He is bound by kartrutva. He is bound by the phala, the result. First, the result. Result is always of two. The tangible and the not tangible, intangible. That which can be seen immediately, that which the fruit can be seen in the future. Now I'm analyzing the result part. Carefully follow. The result is of two: tangible, intangible, immediate, future. The technical word for this is, we have seen it, the technical word for this is drishta and adrishta. Drishta means that which can be seen immediately. Adrishta means where you will see the result at a later point of time. The Shastras explores both. Shastras explains the drishta phala and the adrishta phala. Drishta means that which comes immediately. You boil the water, you see the result. You see the result immediately. You put your finger in the fire, you see the result immediately. You plant a tree, you may not be even alive to see the fruit. That is adrishta. That which adrishta means that which comes at a later period of time. So the result is always of two. One type of result is that which is immediate, instant. Another type of result is that which is another type of phala. Another type of result is that which comes at a later point of time. But nevertheless, cause and effect relationship is there. Nevertheless, there is a cause and effect. Nevertheless, there is this cause and effect relationship. What is the cause and effect relationship? Where there is an action, there will be a result. and that result can be drishta, adrishta, immediate or future. And the nature of that will be, it is drishta and adrishta. Having said that as drishta and adrishta, please understand it can be ishtam and anishtam. It may be pleasant or unpleasant. This is what, in nutshell, the analysis about the result of all actions is. The result of all actions is of two, immediate or future, drishtam and adrishtam. This drishtam and adrishtam again can be of two, ishtam and anishtam. Ishtam means that which is agreeable, anishtam means that which is disagreeable. A person who is affected by this is bound by action. A person is affected by this. A person who is affected by this is a person who is bound by the results of the action. So when he says here, the wise one, though acting, he is not bound. How he is not bound? This is how he is not bound in relation to the results of the action. Therefore, he says, whatsoever the result is, he takes it as, he doesn't say, I'm okay with it. He says, whatever the phala is, it is prasada. Whatever the phala is, I'm okay with it, I'm unaffected by it, and all is one way of saying. But the wise one, how he receives the phala, the wise one receives the phala as prasad. Failure வந்தா கூட எப்படி சார் பிரசாத்னு எடுத்துக்க முடியும்? Success வந்ததுன்னா we can take it as a prasad. When failure comes, how can you take it? Now, the wise one takes it either way, because the nature of the phala can be drishta, adrishta, ishtam, anishtam. அவ்வளவுதான். இது ஒன்றும் பெரிய the shastric knowledge is not that complicated at all. It is the ego, it is ignorance that is complicated. Wisdom is always knowledge is always very simple. Wisdom is always very simple. And people say this knowledge is very complicated, sir. Ignorance is what is complications. Wisdom is simple. Wisdom is very straightforward. What is it? In relation to the phala, it is of two. Drishta, adrishta. Immediate, later. You do an action, you get some result immediately. You do an action, you get some result at a later point of time. Second, that which you get immediate can be ishtam or anishtam. That which you get in the future also can be of ishtam and anishtam. Nevertheless, as a doer, you will experience it. Nevertheless, you being the doer of this action will experience this. So in relation to the fruit, in relation to the result, he has taken this understanding. Adhanal enna aidrathu, though acting, he is not bound by the results, by the phala. Now, kartrutva, the doing part. The sense of doership is what motivates the action. The sense of doership is what that drives the action, that I have to do. The sense of obligation, the sense of responsibility that they take it upon themselves, that I have to do, that is kartrutva. Kartrutva is nothing but an exaggerated notion about one have to perform an action. So, in relation to the doing, how he is acting, in relation to the doing, he says, I am not the doer. If I am not the doer, then who's the doer? He says, that I am not concerned, that I am not worried. I am not the doer. Then who's the doer? There is no need to bring in a doership at all. Is what Kartrutva is all about. There is no need to bring in a doership, for doing can happen without the doership, which is very difficult for a human being to understand. For a human being, always have to believe doership illama or doing is impossible. Here only we bring in the example of rose gives fragrance, sun gives vitality, cloud gives rain. Now they all don't have a doership. Therefore, for an action to be done, doership is not at all necessary. As in, the rose gives fragrance. So a wise one in relation to the doership, he understands it this way. Now comes the starting point. The starting point is the most dangerous point. மூணுமே டேஞ்சர் தான். ரிசல்ட்ல ஒரு டேஞ்சர் இருக்குது, டூவர்ஷிப்ல ஒரு டேஞ்சர் இருக்கு, ஸ்டார்டிங் பாயிண்ட்ல இன்னொரு டேஞ்சர் இருக்கு. Of the three, the starting point. Actions are driven by raga dvesha. Generally speaking, we always say actions are driven by desires, kama. How do you identify the desires? How do you know what your desires are? A desire, now wanting, no sir. When I want something, is that can be called as a desire. That's where Vedanta comes and says, if you want to know your desires, understand what your likes and dislikes are. For your specific likes and dislikes is what your desires are. So raga dvesha is nothing but a specific desires which is unique to you and that which drives your action. Even though we say generally desire drives all action, raga dvesha is more specific. That is why we always say raga and dvesha, likes and dislikes, likes and dislikes. These likes and dislikes drives the action. I like it, I do it. I do not like it, I don't do it. But it is your obligation. It doesn't matter. There is no concern about obligations and all. If I like it, I will do it. If I do not like it, I will not do it. The starting point of the action. How does one manage the likes and dislikes? That is why likes and dislikes has no time and place. Obligation has a time and place. Understand the difference. Raga dvesha actions has no time and place. Raga dvesha has no time and place. Obligations has a time and a place. When something is told at a time and a place, a discipline is brought in. So actions driven by disciplines rather than likes and dislikes. Action driven by a discipline is karma yoga. Action driven by a discipline. What is the discipline? The discipline of doing that which ought to be done at the right time and the right place. That is why obligations, one of the important factors for obligation is, one of the critical factor when it comes to obligation is the desha and kala, the time and the place. Father and mother is alive, ignore them completely, leave them in the streets. After they are dead, I sit and do the rituals. Shastra comes and says, you are doing now But what you should have done, you didn't do. So the obligation has to be done at the obligation has to be done at the right time and the right place. Likes and dislikes says, I will do it whenever. Likes and dislikes says, I will do it whenever I want. Likes and dislikes says, I will do it in the way that I want. Are you able to follow? Likes and dislikes says, I will do it whenever I want. Likes and dislikes says, I will do it however I want. Obligation comes and says, you can't do it whenever you want. You can't do it however you want. It ought to be done in the way that it ought to be done. Ought to be done at the right time, at the right place. Now, who tells you all this? Who teaches us all this? The Vedanta, the Shastras. Therefore, his actions are not driven by likes and dislikes. His actions are driven by the knowledge, the Shastras. So, the starting point of his action is driven by knowledge, the Shastras. The doing part is no kartrutva, unaffected by the so instead of saying unaffected, use this word. Whatsoever the result is, he is taking it as the prasad. Such a person, though acting, he will not be bound by actions. If the moonthiyum fulfill panna, you will not be bound by actions. The most difficult thing is the starting point. The starting point is the likes and dislikes. The likes and dislikes says, again I'm repeating so that it gets clear. I'm going to a further explanation. The likes and dislikes says, I will do it whenever. It says I will do it. Panna maattanla solla maatan, pandren. But I will do it in the way that I want. I will do it whenever I want. Then it ceases to be obligations. So obligation is that which ought to be. Obligation is that which ought to be done at the right time, at the right place. When it comes to most of the actions, we always do according to our likes and dislikes. When something is told it ought to be done at this time, at this place, the mind will not like it. The mind says, who are you to say that? அது நீங்க யார் சார் சொல்றது? அது சாஸ்திரம் என்ன சொல்றது? புக்ல எல்லாம் அப்படிதான் எழுதி வைப்பாங்க. அதெல்லாம் it doesn't work. I will do it according to in the one day, why do you have to brush? I will brush my teeth 3 hours after I wake up. What is your problem? I will brush. That's all. But brushing is important. As important is brushing is as soon as you the time and the place. Are you able to follow? See, most of the time what happens in Raga Dvesha is we do, but we miss the point of doing the time and the place. When the time and place is missed, the result will be different. Angala cause and effect. Now understand the cause and effect relationship. I'm trying to explain the cause and effect relationship now. When it is done, but not at the right time and not at the right place, the result will be different. Are you okay till now? When you are doing it in this way, you are not aware of it. Therefore, when the result comes in the way that you didn't expect, you blame the external factors. This is how everybody blames external factors for things not going in their way. For a person who does the obligations in the way that it ought to be done in the prescribed manner. அதனாலதான் obligations has to be done in the prescribed manner னு சொல்றது. In the prescribed manner னா who prescribes it? Who prescribes it? The Vedanta, the Shastras has prescribed. The biggest problem that we have with the Shastras is, I was briefly talking about this yesterday also. We do not take this as an injunction. We don't take the Shastra as a vidhi, as a rule. We have lost that understanding. ஒரு man-made constitution ஒரு விதியா எடுத்துக்கிற இல்ல ஒரு half கூட we don't have it when it comes to the Shastras. A man-made rule, a man-made thing, we take it as a vidhi and we try to follow. When it comes to the Shastras, we don't understand what the Shastra says as a vidhi, an injunction, a law. You have to obey it. Now, if you do not obey it, what happens? The consequences prove it. When you do not obey it, the consequences prove it. I think some of you would have read the message that I posted in the group yesterday, Swamiji's message. I forwarded the message. I think some of you would have read it. யாராவது படிக்காத இருந்தால்னா படிங்க. He explains the cause and effect relationship. What you see is the effect and you don't understand the what you see is the effect and the cause is not understood. When Shastra talks about the cause at the starting point of the action itself, we tend to ignore it. We tend to ignore it and do it in the way that we want to do. When the American president was the governor, before he became the president, he was the governor. Ronald Reagan, he was the governor of California before he became the president of the United States. When he was the governor, he ordered all the trees to be cut. So the people said, why are you cutting you should not cut the trees. He said, we will keep a few trees as a sample for future generations to see. Rest will be cut. For what is the use in keeping the trees as they are when they have a purpose? What is the purpose? The purpose is the purpose of the humanity. So in a matter of few months, the whole thing got raised. $30 years later, 40 years later, we are talking about planting more. 30 years later, 40 years later, we are talking about planting more trees. Why? When we do an action, we do not understand the consequence. The Shastras explains the consequence. When you are not matured in understanding to understand the consequence, what you have to do immediately? Until you gain that understanding, what you should do? I'm repeating the question again. See, all of you are muted. So நாங்க சொன்னா கூட எனக்கு கேட்காது. Doesn't matter. சும்மா வாய் இப்படி பண்ணா கூட I will know. Even though it's all blank for me. அது ஏதோ ஒரு blank screen தான் என் கண்ணுக்கு முன்னாடி இருக்குது. Till you understand the consequences, till you mature enough in knowledge and understanding so that you know the consequences. You can't wait for understanding to happen. Till the understanding dawns, till the understanding happens, what do you need to do? Quietly follow what they have. Quietly follow what they have said. The raga dvesha will not allow you to do this. Are you able to follow? Raga dvesha will not allow you to do this. Raga dvesha says no. I will do what? I will do what I want. I will do when I want. I will do it however I want. And when the consequences go other way, when the results go other way, they come back and complain. Where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong? The starting point of the action, you went wrong. What is the starting point of the action you went wrong? Raga and dvesha. So, three things in relation to action. The starting point of the action, the actual doing, and then the result. Since he has taken care of all the three, though doing is not bound. One of the extraordinary messages. Though acting, he is not bound by the actions. This is verse 22. There are a couple of questions. First, is there a sequence in which the likes and dislikes, kartrutva and result orientation leaves a person, or all these three results of maturity? Like these are not practices but outcome. This is the question. The question is, likes and dislikes the starting point of the action. Kartrutva is the middle part of the action. The result, the phala, is the third part of the action. Now, the question is, all these three, when does it leave a person? When will a person not be driven by raga dvesha? When will a person not be result oriented? When will a person not be affected by kartrutva? Are all these three results? Meaning, can this be practiced, or is it an outcome? Is it a cause or is it an effect? All the three. Can all the three be practiced, or these three is an outcome of something else? That is the question. நீங்க மூணு சொன்னது ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்தது சார் கேட்கறதுக்கு. ஆனா இந்த மூணும் பிராக்டிஸா effect? That's the question. Is the question okay? The question is these three the practice, or is these three the effect? The answer is, when you are tapas is to practice these three, when all these three becomes effortless, you are matured. So it is a practice. It is a practice. If you ask, is it a practice or is it an outcome? It is all this has to be practiced. Now you can't practice all the three. Whichever one, all the three you can't practice straight away. Of the three, pick up one and start practicing. Of the three, pick up one and start practicing. Over a period of time, you mature into all the three. So to answer the question, is all the three a practice? Is all the three the cause or an effect? In the மூணுத்தையும் practice பண்ணணுமா அல்லது வேற ஏதாவது பண்ணா இந்த மூணு effect வந்துருமா? That's the question. For which the answer is, these three has to be practiced, but you cannot practice all the three. Depending upon that which inspires you, depending upon that which motivates you, you pick up one and start practicing. Eventually, it will lead into a maturity of all the three, because all the three are interconnected. Now, don't worry how it is connected. Don't worry about the interconnection and all now. Start. Of the three, start practicing one. When you start practicing of the three, one, the other two, you mature into it by itself, because all these three are interconnected. Is it okay? Meera, is the answer okay? Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes. The question is bound by action, bound by action. What is bondage? What is this? What is this bound means? Bandha. What is bondage in action? The question is bound, bound, bound. What is bondage? What is the bandha? Bandhamna enna? Bondage na enna? Bondage means that which you are chained by, that which you are tied by. Adu bondage. When you are tied by something, when you are tied to something, you are bound by that. That is bondage. Literally புரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னா, the literal meaning of bandha means chain. Chain. Take a rope. If you take a rope and you are tied to the chair, you are bound by what? You are tied to the chair. What are you bound by? What are you bound to? You are bound to the chair. You are bound by the rope to the chair. What is it that is? The chair means wherever you go, it comes with you. That is bondage. Wherever you go, it keeps coming with you. Meaning, wherever you go, the mind keeps going to some areas. That is bondage. Because the mind is bound there. In the example, Hooda Varun சொல்றதுனால, it is not don't take it literally. Bondage means that which the mind keeps circling around constantly. And it has helplessly, it circles around that. And it has no freedom from that. That's called bondage. As you are listening to me, the mind goes helter-skelter. Why the mind is going helter-skelter? What is the reason for the mind to go there, wherever it is going? Bondage. That's bondage. That's what bondage is. The helplessness with which the mind goes, and even if you want to stop it, even if you want to control it, you cannot control it. That's bondage. This is what bondage is all about. Bondage to action. What is bondage to action? Bondage to action means பண்ணும்போது feverishness, பண்ண முடியலன்னா depression. This is bound to action. While you are doing, there is a feverishness. If you cannot do, there is a depression. It means you are bound to the doing. அது பண்ணாதான் சார் எனக்கு நிம்மதி. It means I am bound to that doing. Another way of understanding this bondage to action, another way of understanding this bondage to action is not while doing there is a feverishness, there is an agitation, there is an excitement, there is an worry, there is an anxiety. All this is doing. Not doing, depression. This is what is known as bound by. This is what is known as bound by action. This is what bondage is all about. Is it okay? This is what bondage means.
So here it is not meaning change.
Here bondage means that which you are bound by. What are you? What is binding? The mind is chained to something. What is it that it is chained to? Whatever it is. Whatever your mind is chained to is your bandha. That's all. So bandha means that which you are chained to. Whatever be it. It can be anything.
Bonded to action, the feverishness and depression is the chain.
Chain in relation to the doing. Now, is it okay? Now, Bharat has a question. What is discipline versus practice? In relation to these three, I said you have to practice. What is discipline versus practice? Discipline is doing these three with effort. Discipline is practicing it. Discipline is practicing it with effort. That's what discipline is all about. That's why discipline always comes for the discipline, the Sanskrit word that we use is prayatna, effort. Wherever there is an effort involved, it is discipline. Wherever practice is involved, it is discipline. Therefore, here we are using a discipline and practice interchangeably, synonymously. What is discipline? Discipline is where an effort is involved. When an effort is involved, it is discipline. In practice also an effort is involved. A time comes where the very practice becomes effortless. A time comes where it will be effortless. Angadam we use the word anayasa. It has come effortlessly. It comes effortlessly. Romba anayasama pantar sir. That which is very difficult for others, this person does it effortlessly means that which is impossible for others, that which is impossible for others, that which is inconceivable for others, that which takes in so much of effort and pain and everything, this man does it effortlessly. This we have seen in the past also. Effortlessness comes out of much effort. Effortlessness comes out of much effort. If you see somebody doing something effortlessly, means what you have to understand, much effort has gone into it already. So discipline and practice in this context, Bharat, we are using it synonymously. Is it okay, Bharat, or you are asking for something specific?
No, Guruji, that's fine.
Yeah.
The one more aspect of discipline, I wanted a clarification.
Yeah.
practice, like you rightly said, and discipline are being synonymous here,
Yeah.
understanding purposes.
Yes.
But when you come to effort, it is different.
Yes.
So if I extend the same logic,
Yeah.
practice doesn't have a samaya attributed to it.
Yes.
It can be done at any point in time, whereas a discipline
Yes.
is more with desam and kalam
Kala. Yes. Yes. Yes.
attributed to that.
Correct.
So that distinction is there, right? I just wanted that clarity if that is there.
Yes, correct. Yes, yes, yes. Now I understand what you are saying. What Bharat is saying is, practice means you can practice it at any time. Discipline means it ought to be done at a desha and kala. Yes, in that way, obligations is discipline only, not a practice.
Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted.
In that
Obligation
way,
and discipline.
yes, in that way, see, practice means I can practice it at any time. I'm doing it, but I'm doing it at any time. No. Discipline means doing it at the time and the place, proper time and the proper place. Then only it is known as. Then only it is a discipline. I am practicing anytime you can't practice. Are you able to follow? I said it ought to be disciplined. Discipline practice is doing. Practice can be mere doing itself. But discipline means doing it at the desha and kala. So in that way, prayatna is for. In that way, discipline involves more effort.
Correct. Exactly.
In that way, discipline involves more effort. And what we are talking here is only the discipline part. One is it should be done, and it should be done at the desha and kala. That's why, to give a simple example, in the Sandhya Vandana prayer that we do, the arghya has to be given at that time.
Yeah.
When we don't give arghya at that time, we do a prayaschitta and say prayasthitarghyam, we say.
Yes, correct.
We do a prayaschitta. There is always a prayaschitta action. Why that prayaschitta action? Prayaschitta action is because I didn't do it at the
right time.
I didn't do it at the right time and right place. So in the karma yoga, the obligation, it's not just doing. It is doing at the time, at the desha and kala. If you read one of the things is, if you in the poems book, there is one thing called Letter to the Earl of Chesterfield.
Yeah, correct.
Samuel Johnson's Letter to the Earl of Chesterfield. In that he says, he is not a patron, my lord, who looks with unconcern when the man is struggling in water. When the person is struggling in water, he looks unconcerned. When he grounds himself, encumbers him with all help. Yeah. He says the desha and kala is not there. Wow. You are wanting to help me, but this help now is useless because it should be done at the time and place. It's not done. Therefore, it's of no use. Therefore, obligation, important thing in obligation is the desha and the kala. That's what makes it a discipline. Is it okay, Bharat?
Last attitude also, sir.
Yes.
While performing the action. So all three included will be discipline in my understanding, sir. Is it correct? Raga, kala, and the attitude towards doing that particular action will form the discipline.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
The desha, the kala, and the bhava. Bhava. அந்த பாவன்ற வார்த்தை நான் அவாய்ட் பண்ணினே இருந்தேன். I didn't want to use that word bhava because if I get into that, that will become another 1 hour discourse on that word bhava itself, which I will take up some other time.
Later. Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you.
Obligation na 3 varano adala. Doing the bhava, the desha, the kala. See, the desha and kala is correct, but I do it with contempt, with an irritation, with a long face, they say, no? So, the desha, the kala, and then the bhava also. So, when all these three are combined, then only it is the right doing. இந்த மூணுத்தி ஆக்க விடாம எது பண்றது ராகத்வேஷம். What takes away these three? The bhava, the desha, the kala. What disturbs these three? What takes away these three? Raga and dvesha. Seriya? Is it okay? Yep. In some other context, I will talk about the bhava, but action moonu varano adula. The bhava, the desha, and the kala. Now, Sivajnanam has a question. நேர கேட்கறதோட இதுல டைப் அடிக்கிறது ஈஸியா இருக்குன்னு கொஸ்டினா வருது போல இருக்கு. நேரா இருக்கும்போது கூட இவ்வளவு கேள்வி வந்ததே இல்லை. Now Sivajnanam has a question. Action done with likes and dislikes, but without kartrutva and no expectation of result. Is it possible? And if so, what will be the effect? Action done with likes and dislikes. I'm repeating the question again. Action done with likes and dislikes, without kartrutva, no expectation of result. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. What will be the consequence of it? There will be a relative peace and relative success. ஏன்னா கர்த்தృత్వంக்குன்னு இருக்கிற agitation is gone. Result orientationக்கு இருக்கிற agitation is gone. Therefore, what happens? Of 100%, let us say, 33.3, 33.3, 33 வச்சுனா கூட 0.1 மிச்சமா இருக்கும் இல்லையா இங்கேயும். So, divided it into these three. Of the three, if two you are taking care of, to that extent, there will be a mental, there will be a mental peace. To that extent, there will be a dynamism in action. To that extent, there will be a mental peace. So, answering Sivajnanam, is it possible? Yes. And although we started by saying, இந்த மூணுத்துல ஏதாவது ஒன்னாவது ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க. If we say, no, all this has to be done together, now that becomes a problem. Then where do you start? Starting point has to be somewhere. Of the three, start somewhere, wherever. So, Sivajnanam's starting point is action done with likes and dislikes. என்னால likes and dislikes எல்லாம் விட முடியாது sir. He's saying, right, okay, granted, keep it. Kartrutva, I am trying to be without kartrutva, fine. To that extent, agitations lessen, and no expectation of, and I am unconcerned about the result also. Is it possible? Yes. What will be the consequence of this way of practicing? Less agitations. Less agitation means better absorption, more clarity, more knowledge. So that way, the consequence of this is you will gain more and more knowledge. You will get more and more established in knowledge. So this is the consequence. சரியா சிவஞானம்? Now, Prabhu has a question. How to come out of this bandha so we won't be feverish or get into depression? How to get out of this bandha? It is the mind that gets into this bandha. So Raghu is asking how to come out of this bandha so that there is no feverishness or depression. you can come out of this bandha and be free from feverishness or depression is when you work for a selfless cause. When you are working for a selfless cause, when you pitch up a selfless ideal and work towards that ideal, you will come out of this bandha. From next verse onwards, he is going to start that. 23, from verse number 23, he is going to start that. Yajnana, he is introducing it. And then for the rest of the 6 months, you will be stuck with this word yajna. அதனால இன்னையோட லாக் அவுட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். 6 மாசம் கழிச்சு லாகின் பண்ணாலும் சீரியல் மாதிரி இதே தான் வில் பி டாக்கிங். யஜ்ஞானு தான். Because how to come out of this mind bandha? When you work for a selfless, when you are working for a selfless cause. And what is that action for a selfless cause? Yajna. Verse number 23, he is going to start about yajna. 33 வரைக்கும் போறது this yajna. Ganesh is feverish about getting into yajna now. Ganesh is feverish. Sir, எப்ப சார் யஜ்ஞா வருவேல்? எப்ப அதுக்கே எதுக்கு அவ்வளவு ஃபீவர்? I said, பொறுமையா we will come to yajna. Why are you getting feverish into getting into yajna now? He was asking me. Actually, he was not asking me Allah. He was telling me what I should do. அவ்வளவுதான். சார் இதெல்லாம் கேள்விலாம் எடுக்காதீங்க, இதெல்லாம் விடுங்க. Come to yajna straight. அதுதான் feverishness to yajna. When you perform action with the yajna attitude, Raghu, you get out of this feverishness and depression. What is it and how do we do that? From next verse onwards, we are going to do that. And the most difficult portion of the Bhagavad Gita is this. From verse number 23, when the yajna portion starts, it is one of the difficult portions of the Bhagavad Gita is these few verses. When yajna karma, when karma is done with the spirit of yajna, when karma is done with the attitude of yajna, feverishness and depression goes out. If not, the mind gets into bandha. This is for this is how you get out of this bandha. Is it okay, Raghu?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I'm just starting, so I'm just learning.
Correct, I know. Yeah. Now, Vijay Ramakrishnan has a question. Where does Shraddha come in? Now the question that she is asking is, where does Shraddha come in? 3 வாரமா ஸ்ரத்தான்னு ஒரு டியூன் பாடினேன். Suddenly, where does Shraddha come in? Shraddha is that. Shraddha is the dedication with which the discipline is practiced. Shraddha is the dedication with which the discipline has to be practiced. Because it is said the bhava, the desha, the kala, all this the Shastra says. Now all this is very frustrating to hear. The result is not going to be seen. Nothing is understandable. So all this is so confusing. You follow? Now, where does Shraddha come in? Shraddha comes in the practice of discipline. When you are practicing the discipline, Shraddha comes in there. Desha, kala, bhava, the kartrutva, all that you let go of to do this. Therefore, Shraddha, the role of Shraddha comes in the practice of discipline. The practice of discipline is obligations that which ought to be done. I make an effort to get rid of my kartrutva, and whatever the pala is, I am willing to take it as Ishvara Prasad. I'm able to take it as Prasad Buddhi. Now, Shraddha is that which unites all this together into one unit. Analyze பண்ணி பேசும்போது தனித்தனியா இருக்கு. When Shraddha comes in, Shraddha unites everything and make it into one unit. The one unit of doing it at the Desha Kala with Bhava, whether I like it or not, but then ensuring that Kartrutva is not there, and also to make sure that I receive the pala as Prasada Buddhi. எல்லாத்துக்கும் ஸ்ரத்தா வேணும். அனிஷ்ட பலம் வந்த பிரசாத புத்தி ஏத்துக்கிறதுக்கும் ஸ்ரத்தா வேணும். இஷ்ட பலம் வந்த not to get excited and take it as the prasad, அதுக்கு ஒரு ஸ்ரத்தா வேணும். When Ishtapala comes, I say I deserve it. When Anishtapala comes, I ask why. When things go in my favor, I say I deserve it. It's my hard work. When things don't go in my way, I ask why. இந்த ரெண்டு கேள்வியும் கேட்காம இருக்கிறதுக்கு ஸ்ரத்தா வேணும். The result, the success is also the prasad, the failure is also the prasad. அதுக்கு தான் ஸ்ரத்தா வேணும். Are you able to follow?
சரி, ஓகே.
Vijay asks a question. Is it possible to disconnect likes and dislikes from kartrutva? Is it possible to disconnect likes and dislikes from kartrutva? No. Likes and dislikes and kartrutva are also interconnected. You cannot really segregate. When we start practicing, we can say, I start from one. That much is possible. That's all. The question is it possible to disconnect likes and dislikes from kartrutva? No, it is not possible. For likes and dislikes cannot be literally disconnected like that. But when I start practicing, what I can do is I can ensure that kartrutva doesn't come and interfere while I am doing an action. With my limited knowledge, with whatever limited knowledge, with whatever limited intellect I have, I can only ensure that the kartrutva doesn't come and interfere with my doing. That is possible. But to disconnect it with raga dvesha, no. Because raga dvesha, kartrutva, phala, all three are interconnected. All three are interconnected. So for all practical purposes, all three are interconnected. The raga dvesha, the kartrutva, and the phala, all three are interconnected. In practice, when you make an effort to free yourself from these three, you can start with any one. You can say, I will do actions with likes and dislikes only, but whatever the result comes, I accept it. That is why they say acceptance. Now, in acceptance, there will be a frustration. In acceptance, there will be an element of frustration. In acceptance, there will be an element of non-acceptance already in it. Accept. In acceptance, there will be an element of non-acceptance. That is because of the raga and dvesha in it anyway. நான் அக்செப்ட் பண்ணியிருக்கிறேன் சார், ஆனா எனக்கு இது வந்திருக்க கூடாது இல்ல, the person says. I accept a failure, but it should not have happened to me, no? Are you all able to follow what I'm saying? Therefore, it is in practice, you can start with doing one. One person can, another person can start with saying, I will do it without kartrutva. Kartrutva means the sense of indispensability. That is kartrutva. What is kartrutva? Kartrutva is the sense of indispensability. Now, I ensure that I try to act without the sense of indispensability. So, to that extent, I am dealing with kartrutva. But still, I will be affected by raga dvesha and still result. It's not black and white like that. There are shades of gray in practice, overlapping. In shades of gray, overlapping practices. Sometimes you will be dealing with kartrutva. Sometimes you will be dealing with raga dvesha. Sometimes you will be dealing with phala. Now all this will be a mixed practice. All this will be like a practice that will go. All this will be a practice that will go with a lot of factors. So in that way, it can be disconnected. In that way, in practice, it can be disconnected. In the deeper core, all three are interconnected. Distinct three functions interconnected. Don't say all these three are one. Three distinct factors are interconnected. Raga dvesha, kartrutva, and the phala, the result. Here he is talking about a person, though acting he is not bound. Though acting he is not bound. What is the bondage? The bondage of raga dvesha, the bondage of kartrutva, the bondage of phala. Is it possible to disconnect likes and dislikes from kartrutvam? The question, Vijay's question. No. Because all these three are interconnected. All these three are interconnected. Therefore, you cannot disconnect it like that. When you are practicing, what you can do is you can practice. Just as when you want to complete fitness, one day you work on your biceps and triceps. One day you work on your core. One day you work on your legs. You want complete fitness, but when you start working on, you target a part, and then you go to the next, and then you go to the next. So over a period of time, you will have a overall health. But sir, I have a good biceps and triceps and push-ups and all that, but my core is weak. Yes, that can be attended to separately. But then the core is okay, upper part is okay, legs are weak, the knees are weak. That also has to be exercised. The body is an organic whole. Health is whole. Health is wholesome. To achieve that wholesome health, you need to work in. To achieve that wholesome health, you need to work in pockets. Similarly, not being bound is wholesome. Exactly like health. Not being bound is exactly like health, wholesome, but how you need to work on it is you work on the specific. What is the specific? I said it can be raga dvesha, it can be kartrutva, or it can be the phala, the result. Therefore, a person acts on all these three. Seriya? Is it okay, Vijay? Yeah. Right. Yes, good. With this, we conclude for today and we continue verse number 23. Ganesh, Yajna Karma அடுத்த வாரம் ஆரம்பிச்சுடுறேன். Verse number 23. We start with Yajna, one of the fascinating, difficult portions of the Gita. Hari Om.